Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all having a great day and that you are all doing well. To start things off, it seems that we are in a very predicty month, if you kind of want to say that. Gemini co-founder and Bitcoin billionaire Tyler Winklevoss says he's betting on Bitcoin hitting 15,000 US dollars if bulls can crack or pass cross-key resistance at $10,000. Tyler and his brother Cameron have seen plenty of Bitcoin boom and bust cycles. They say that they brought 1% of all Bitcoin in existence back in 2012 when the cost of each coin was around $9 per coin. I mentioned that before as well to other people. I was like, if they bought 1% of all Bitcoin in existence in 2012 when it was $9, it's safe to assume that they probably hold, I think it's anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe even 6% of all the Bitcoin that's out there, because logically speaking, they were already rich before. I don't think they stopped buying it when it hit 100. That wasn't their limit. And even when it was $1,000, especially when it hit 20 and then dropped back down, I assume they also accumulated a lot more as well. The prediction echoes the recent forecast from Fundstrat co-founder and head of research. His name is Tom Lee, who says Bitcoin's past market cycles indicate Bitcoin will surge between 200 to 400% if it can cross by $10,000. This has kind of been the topic of discussion for a couple of weeks now. People have been asking, when we hit 10,000, then what? Where do we go? Everyone is waiting for this magical 10,000 to finally be reached, and therefore, what then happens when Bitcoin hits that number? Where do we go from there? In a new interview on CNBC's Futures Now, Fundstrat co-founder and head of research Tom Lee says Facebook's new cryptocurrency proves that crypto is going mainstream. He said, the Facebook announcement is a complete validation that mainstream is now focused on cryptocurrencies, and I think it really destroys those arguments that say, I believe in blockchain, but not Bitcoin. That was a thing around 2012, 13, 14, 15, maybe even parts of 2016. A lot of people were saying, especially banks, that they did not care about Bitcoin. Bitcoin had no use, had no function, no features that they really cared about, but they all thought that blockchain was kind of cool. And then come to find out in late 2018 and 2019, just about every single person, every single company, every corporation who said that they liked blockchain and not Bitcoin, they all came out and said that they had been buying Bitcoin and that they were holding large amounts of Bitcoin. There's even like a little video clip of Jamie Dimon saying that he was wrong and that I think even his son owns Bitcoin or something like that. So anyway, Lee says the fact that Facebook is creating a, that's what it was. I was looking at coin while I was saying Facebook, so it came out to Facebook. Anyway, Lee says the fact that Facebook is creating a stable coin bodes well for Bitcoin in the long run. He said, this is clearly a cryptocurrency play, but the salvo, or real focus, is decentralized finance, and I think it is more targeted at stablecoins and creating a new kind of banking system, and it's very complementary to Bitcoin. I think this is actually a really bullish development for Bitcoin. I think it's really bad news for stablecoins and anyone who's been trying to do decentralized finance. One thing to keep in mind, Facebook's annual reserves per user is around $50. That might be a little high, but an average bank generates close to 1,000 per user. So Facebook has a 20x upside to their customer model if they start doing banking services, which I said that they're going to do. And so I can see why banks aren't really enthusiastic about this. This is like a major thing right now. More players are coming out of the woodworks talking about exactly how much they do not like Facebook's cryptocurrency. Thank goodness that my comment section yesterday was full of people who don't like Facebook, don't like what Facebook is doing. I'm glad that you all understand, except for like the 1 or 2 little comments out there who were like, people asking how do they buy Libra coin? Pushing those aside in my head. Everyone else seems to realize that this is very negative, and we also have a situation right now where big players are coming forward and they're like, nope, something's not right here. As for the price of Bitcoin, Lee says the leading crypto is now in a full-blown bull market, on track to take all-time highs of $20,000. He said, I think Bitcoin ultimately becomes a reserve currency in crypto. Bitcoin at $9,000 has only been at this level in 4% of history. We're deep into a bull market and people are pretty silent about it. I think Bitcoin is going to easily take out its all-time highs. According to Lee, Bitcoin's previous cycles suggest that if Bitcoin can hit 10,000, it will soar to $40,000 within 5 months. So saith Tom Lee. Very interesting. This is not the first time, like I said, this is probably the month of predictions, if you will. We've had a lot of predictions, and it's kind of the fact that we have retested multiple times the $9,000 area. I think one time we got to $8,920, something ridiculous like that. And the price popped back over. A lot of people have been, I feel, and also it seems that a lot of whales are trying to push the price down to see exactly where the bottom on this current phase of where we are is. It appears it is around $9,000, and this is why we're getting so many predictions, so many people talking about that they believe that relatively soon that Bitcoin is not only going to pass 10,000, this is where we're getting that $15,000, $20,000, and $40,000 per Bitcoin. This year, a lot of people were predicting at the beginning of this year in anticipation of just a reward being cut in half, not Fidelity, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, blah, 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 name being launched. Just in anticipation of the reward being cut in half of Bitcoin hitting between 50 to 60,000 US dollars. And this is where we get those really weird predictions of a $80,000 to a $100,000 Bitcoin. For those who were here at the beginning of the year, who remember everything that was going on before Bitcoin even started ticking up, and we had a lot of people talking about that Bitcoin could maybe hit $5,000 by December. And I sat there and was like, Are we getting the same news? I feel like something's completely incorrect with what you've been getting. Anyway, I think Bitcoin is I want to say easily 40,000. I think once we hit the 10,000, soon, I think, everything in the news is going to start focusing on, can Bitcoin hit its all-time high? Will Bitcoin get to 20,000 again? Can Bitcoin so and so and so? I'm expecting a tiny drop at 20,000 because people are irrationally afraid of other people around the world selling. We'll have that dip. We'll go back over it. I assume we'll hit around 21, 22, 23,000, sit there for a little while as people try to anticipate either a drop or going back up. And I think at that point, the sky's the limit. There's nothing really stopping it from going a lot higher. I hate rushing time. I really do hate rushing it, but I'm excited to see exactly where the market is around, not even October. I want to say November. Nearing Thanksgiving time, and also around like the beginning of December. This is usually a relatively okay time for the cryptocurrency markets, and I kind of want to see if the fear of missing out of the 2020 reward getting cut in half is going to be a huge catalyst in pushing us anywhere from 60 to 100,000 by the end of the year. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, the new XRP ledger developer site known as xrpl.org has officially launched. xrpl.org is a new community-driven website for developers to access technical documentation, developer tools, tutorials, and network metrics for the XRP ledger. In the past, Ripple's developer site has been the hub for documentation and tools on the XRP ledger. As the XRP ledger community continues to grow and as the network becomes further decentralized, it makes sense to have a website that is openly built and maintained by the community, not just by one institution. While Ripple will still play a significant role in managing and providing content for xrpl.org, so will the many other dedicated developers, designers, writers, and business leaders that interact with the XRP ledger every day. End quote. This is for a couple of reasons. First of all, decentralization 1 is the name of the game. I feel that the people from Ripple have realized that they are decentralized, but they need to get even more decentralized in order for their coin to never be considered a security or anything of the sort, or any other, whatever the actual case might be. The people from Ripple have done a very good line, kind of, give or take, when it comes to getting accepted by people in the cryptocurrency community. This is why I said kind of, Bitcoin people don't really care for XRP anyway. The point is, they've done a very good job in getting people on the crypto side and also getting regulators. And this is what I think they're ultimately trying to build. This also kind of ties into the news that we had before about the other stuff that's going to be built on top of the XRP ledger as the other thing that we're seeing right now in the cryptocurrency space. It may not be so much on Bitcoin. There are people who are also trying to build on top of Bitcoin or on top of other layers or so and so and so, is that everyone is trying to make sure that their platform or ledger or blockchain or whatever you kind of want to call it has it's capable of smart contracts, it's capable of building websites, it's capable of building dApps and games and so, and it keeps going on and on and on. So this is why I think that they're also doing this to make sure that the people within the community also have a say. This is kind of a normal thing or has already happened for other cryptocurrency projects. They're a little late to the game. At least they got here. I'm excited to see exactly what's going to be built on top of XRP. I don't think we're going to have the same momentum like we do for Ethereum as far as like governments and stuff building on top of them. But I mean, to be fair, they're also like using, rather banks and institutions are going to be using them. So that's kind of a very big use case right there. Next up, the head of Russia's central bank has said the institution could one day launch its own digital currency. Chairwoman Elvira Nabulina told a student conference that while such a project cannot be realized immediately, various central banks, including the Bank of Russia, are investigating the possibility. This was said by TASS on Saturday. Key to the utility of a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC, she said, is that the technology must ensure reliability and continuity. Technologies must be mature, including technologies of distributed registries. Another question is whether citizens are ready to leave cash behind. According to Nebulina, I hope that's how you say her name, she said, it will be more convenient. It is electronic money for people, for citizens. Are we ready as a society to refuse cash? I hate when they throw in like it's for the people, by the people, or it's here to help you. It's usually something wrong when politicians start saying stuff like that. While other nations have become almost cash-free, others are still fond of physical money, she said. Not so much for illicit reasons, but because they value privacy and anonymity. She finished with some advice to the central bank's researchers, saying that they should compare the advantages of central bank digital currencies over other methods such as fast bank payments. Hold on one second. It's about 38,000 degrees in this room, and for some reason I didn't have the fan on or a window open, so I'm sitting here roasting. Anyway, this is goodly good news once again. Just about every single entity, every single central bank, to kind of focus them even more, has announced that they have or had plans to launch a central bank digital currency, and for some reason at the moment, they're all taking a step back, or they're saying that if they do eventually implement this, it'll take them a number of years to be able to properly do so. This is great not only for crypto, but also for Bitcoin, because the longer they take, the stronger our networks get, and the stronger our networks get, and the more people around the world that know about them, the less people that are actually going to be inclined to use a central bank digital currency or anything else of the sort, especially because we're having a lot of information floating around right now about the Facebook coin fiasco thing that's going on, that is causing a lot of people to really understand exactly how deep this is going to go and how much control, if Facebook is creating this, and they're going to have control over not only your identity, who you're talking to, where you're going, where you're checking into, your friends, your photos, tagging your face automatically, but they're also going to know everything that you're buying. This is a problem. So I am glad that we continuously have news from different countries about their late stage implementation of a central bank digital currency. However, I need myself Bitcoin to pass by anywhere from $10,000, $15,000 to $20,000 so the crazy hype can get back in the market. More people who were not in the market before can start buying into the market. And this is how you continue the adoption of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, because we need to make sure that while our networks and our cryptocurrency space are robust right now, we need to make sure that they're robuster. I think robuster is a word. I'm pretty sure it's a word. We need a $50,000 to a $100,000 Bitcoin. We need news outlets to start talking about the, no uncertain words, the demise of the dollar, and also the strengthening and strengthened use case of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in relation to other fiat currencies that are undergoing hyperinflation. So I give them about a year and a half. I want to say a year before they actually start announcing that they're going to think about implementing something. But at that point, by 2020, it is believed, once again, the crazy Bitcoin prices. So let's see when we get there. But yeah, let's move on. Russia is also once again in the news. The chairman of the Russian State Duma Committee on Financial Market, his name is Anatoly Aksakov, has said that Facebook's forthcoming cryptocurrency known as Libra will not be legalized in Russia. Local news outlet TASS reported on the 18th of June. Aksakov stated that Russia will not legalize the use of Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency, which the company intends to roll out in 2020, because it may pose a threat, or rather it is going to pose a threat to the financial system of the country. Aksakov also stressed that Russia has no plans to adopt legislation which provides space for the active use of crypto tools created in the framework of open blockchain platforms or platforms in blockchain. We spoke about this yesterday. For those who may have missed that video, go check it out, because it's weird what Facebook is doing, and it's even weirder how quickly governments are responding to the fact that Facebook has said that they're going to launch this, because what it comes down to is that Facebook has billions of users. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's like, what is it? 2 billion users altogether across all of their platforms, and the fact that everyone on their multiple platforms are going to have access to a currency, or a stable coin as it is being called, immediately amongst all their platforms will make Facebook the largest central banking entity in the entire world in one swift move. And this is why we're seeing a whole bunch of banks and countries talking about, hey, no, you can't do that. And I think the 16th of July is when the people from Facebook are supposed to go to the US to have a hearing to ask them exactly what they're doing, because governments, it's all quite fascinating. Aksakov's statements would seem contradictory to those of the Deputy Finance Minister, Alexei Moiseev, who said that the country's major cryptocurrency bill on digital financial assets could be adopted in the next 2 weeks. According to Aksakov, people will be able to purchase Libra on foreign financial platforms, while the creation of similar mechanisms in Russia will be strictly limited. He said, in theory, we should talk about the possibility of organizing all kinds of exchanges, trading platforms, and the sale of such currencies. I believe, will limit or prohibit the creation of such sites. Those who acquire, or ones who acquire those tools using foreign legislation, can do it at their own risk. First of all, it's a stable coin. It's not something that you need to have in your portfolio anyway. That's not something you should be running out into the street screaming, oh my gosh, I'm holding Libra coin. I wonder exactly where this is going to go. I was listening to another podcast. I know I say this every day, guess you get used to it at this point. And it said, they were talking about there's so much immediate backlash from countries and corporations and entities and banks and central banks about Facebook trying to launch. I was actually like doing a little dance as I was saying all those words, that apparently people think or are speculating that this is why Facebook gave out the 2020 timeframe, because they didn't necessarily mean the beginning of 2020. With all this backlash, it may actually be the end of 2020 or somewhere in the middle. They may try and do like a soft launch, and this is where we were getting the entire thing about India from, because it's either going to be banned or going to be not even regulated. That they think that government agencies, especially within the US or any other place, may try to simply have as much control over Facebook coin as they already do with the normal banking system, which they are pretty sure Facebook won't allow, which then could also lead to a whole bunch of court battles, which could also lead to bad press. And that bad press and lawsuits leads to even more delays. There are people, and don't take this one to heart, there are people who think that Facebook coin could never launch simply because of all the backlash that we're already having in the countries and so-and-so talking about banning it. And also just, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the bread and butter of it. I'm pretty sure that's a phrase. It's kind of what it comes down to, is that there's so much backlash already that it could be like delayed by a long time, or they may completely scrap the plan because smart people realize they don't want to use it. Most people don't want to be tracked, and governments and banks are also like, they're going to become the largest bank in the entire world immediately. People will stop using our services. There's just so much with this entire thing. Here's the actual article right here. It's in Russian. I don't read Russian, but for those of you who can, here it goes right here. Have fun. Next up, developers will block United States IP addresses from being able to trade tokens from the 8th of 11. While other functionalities will remain. Decentralized exchange platform known as Bancor plans to restrict United States residents from trading tokens on the 8th of July. The company confirmed in a blog post on the 18th of June. Citing a lack of clarity from regulators, executives said they took the decision to ban all users with a US IP address from the cryptocurrency exchange. They said this decision has been made in light of increased regulatory uncertainty. At this time, we believe this is the most judicious decision for all of our members of our ecosystem. It continues on saying this will enable the Bancor community and ecosystem to innovate faster and with greater clarity. So yeah, this is another exchange. This is also a decentralized exchange, but they also have a little office. And like I said, I assume that a lot of them have received letters in the mail or very unfriendly email that says to them, hey, we don't like what you're doing. You got to stop doing it, and therefore don't do it. So as of now, if you are using Bancor, I think Bancor was actually a relatively popular decentralized exchange as well. Didn't mean to give you bad news, but I am not a US lawmaker, so I didn't make these laws. Once again, we were supposed to have had US cryptocurrency laws in like 2017. It's looking like this year is probably not going to also give us any results as far as laws and regulations for cryptocurrencies. So, yeah, let's move on. To kind of finish things off, United Kingdom-based interdealer broker TP ICAP, or ICAP, will sell Bitcoin financial derivatives. This is according to Bloomberg on the 17th of June. Per the report, the ICAP unit of the firm now allows its customers to buy or sell the Chicago Mercantile Exchange's Bitcoin futures, or CME Bitcoin futures. In June, the Chicago Board Options Exchange, or the CBOE, Bitcoin futures will expire with no current plans for renewal, leaving the CME as the sole offerer of Bitcoin futures. TP ICAP also reportedly expects to add non-deliverable forwards tied to the largest cryptocurrency and then plans to open desks in Asia and the US. Bloomberg claims that the company took the decision due to a decrease of its core business model. They said interdealer brokers have traditionally relied on handling trades for banks, but their volume shrunk in the aftermath of the financial crisis. A profit warning last year wiped 36% from TP ICAP's market value in a day. It regained about 10% since then to 1.6 billion pounds, around $2 billion US. The author of the report also pointed that customers have to comply with Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering regulations in order to access Bitcoin through the firm's services. Furthermore, TP ICAP also reportedly considers other digital assets such as altcoins and tokenized to be real-world assets, and then it goes on to talk about yada, 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 yada. Yeah, this is another firm or institution who's also going to be having Bitcoin futures on their platform. I think, or rather, what it seems to be is that at the moment, there are a lot of other banks, companies, institutions, countries who are not very comfortable with launching their own Bitcoin derivatives, or to say anything that is derived from Bitcoin, what have you, or anything similar to it. So they seem to be not leeching off of each other, but they seem to be using other things that are already active, and therefore they're just kind of using them as well to kind of test the waters. But it's very clear at this point that everyone, every government, every country, every bank wants to launch something in accordance with Bitcoin or against Bitcoin. And when I say against Bitcoin, I mean like as far as like trading to it, not like actually like I hate Bitcoin. It's clear that Bitcoin is the name of the game, and this is where kind of all the money is flowing to, but it seems that they're doing this on a slower basis than many other people, and this is why we see corporations like this who are using other people's Bitcoin futures or other people's derivatives products without having to simply launch their own, because if this one fails, they can say, well, we didn't make one, we were just simply using those to test it out. That's kind of how it works. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, My Keto Kitchen, Adobo, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Clara T, Snowden, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Nicholas, One Earth, One Peace, One Love, Setsuna, Nick, Kanaya, Richie Rich the Third, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Tom and Sam Losers, Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Manjalavori, Anthony Charles, and Mechanic. Thank you all very much for your support. At the moment, the market's marketing. Bitcoin is up. Bitcoin is at $9,332. Ethereum is barely up by 0.5%. We have another situation where it appears that the other coins are not going down dramatically, but they're going down as Bitcoin continues to go up. I think we are very close to people trying once again to hit that $10,000 Bitcoin. Really, it could go two ways. I know these are the only two options. Altcoins are either going to surge based on that, or everyone is going to completely lose their mind and try to dump as much money as possible into Bitcoin because of the fear of missing out. It could go either way. I'm thinking the second scenario. I'm probably going to be wrong, but it seems like the trend that's been happening since Bitcoin keeps bouncing back over the $9,000 area is that everyone is desperately looking at Bitcoin to make sure that it doesn't go over 10,000, or if it does, that they are also part of that game. No other coin right now is doing exceptionally well. Leo is up, what have you. Bitcoin Gold is also up. Don't even pay attention to things like that. Doge is up. Once again, also never in the news. Bitcoin Diamond. See, when you talk about these jumps in price, sometimes people will ask me in the comment section, "Hey, I saw Bitcoin Diamond going up by 18%. Why didn't you talk about it?" Do you want me to talk about Bitcoin Diamond? Do you own Bitcoin Diamond? You should not be owning Bitcoin Diamond, by the way. These things go up because people can pump them, because their volume is so low that it only takes a couple $1 million to really start, pushing things into the stratosphere. And when you push things up in price, other people start to jump into it. The price goes higher, and at that point, the person who is the original pumper, they simply sell off their stuff, push it into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price goes up, and then everyone else is like, "Oh my gosh, I lost $10,000. What am I going to do with my life?" Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. Been a pretty okay week so far. I can't really complain about too much. Facebook coin is dominating the news across all facets of life. I'm actually missing a huge amount of news about Facebook coin in this video simply because I'm tired of saying the name Facebook. But this is going to be a topic for quite some time. This was very anticipated by many people, not only in the cryptocurrency space to figure out exactly what it was, but also people in the mainstream media who have realized that cryptocurrencies are mainstream enough that a multi-billion-dollar company would even consider thinking about launching a cryptocurrency. And yeah, so expect a lot more backlash news as time continues to go on. Thank you all once again for watching and listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.